What is going on, everybody? Final day of quarterfinals. We're going to take a look at the leaderboard here in just a second. See how this all shakes out. How are you feeling? Because you did that little ditty this morning, didn't you?
I did. I did the workout number 5. I'm not gonna lie. I had very low expectations for this because I was very sore. My mom was making fun of me at dinner last night because I was moving very gingerly.
Dang.
But I wanted to get under the time cap. I got under the time cap. I power snatched.
Tremendous. Good job, man. That's awesome.
The last couple may have been, the return of the.
We froze.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Hang on.
A little.
Let's see. Doink. Whoops. Something happened. Something happened. Stand by. Trying to figure it out.
I can see it says.
Yep, our camera's not working. I don't know what happened.
Uh-oh.
I wonder if I can exit out and restart. Here's what I'm going to do.
Hang tight.
Yep. Back. We're back. Hopefully we're back.
Camera's working. Should I jiggle the handle?
No, I think we're all good.
Okay.
Sorry about that, everybody. Apologize. Technical difficulties. Hopefully we don't have any more of those. Yes, so let's get to that. Christy just posted here. Did y'all notice that Bethany Shadburn hasn't submitted any scores? So we talked about this yesterday. I reached out to the game scoring department and was told that she didn't submit any scores. They didn't know why. We don't know why. But obviously she's not going to advance. So whatever that explanation is, I have no idea. But that's all I know. So we did reach out to the scoring department to see, hey, maybe did she submit them and there's like a video problem or what's the deal? But they're like, no, we didn't get any. So we'll have to wait and see what happened with that. We're going to have Scott Panchik on today, which will be good. He's going to be joining us here in just a second. Okay. You want to start? Do you want to look at leaderboards here?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. I was very surprised we had a big turnout at our gym show up today.
Oh, good.
So there was like a few of us that are doing quarterfinals, and then a couple people that have been popping in for tests here and there. And I just messaged our gym owner like, hey, we want to do this last one at like 9 a.m. this morning. Can the gym be open? It's like, oh yeah, I'll be working with some of my solo clients. And he messaged the gym, and a bunch of people showed up to cheer us on.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. It was a really cool environment.
Zach Davis wants to know, what semifinal location are you competing at?
Location?
Yeah. So what semifinal are you going
to? The announcer's booth.
Yeah.
that is the only place I will be competing from here on out. I'll be doing the quarters for age groups.
Yeah, you're going right back into the fray, man.
I got about 4 weeks to prepare.
I admire the hell out of you for being able to go through all this, man. That's it's impressive. And to everybody out there who's doing quarterfinals, good on you, because that is not an easy task. So
I'm reminded why I don't train at this volume quite often, because I am dying. Like, to touch on what Brad Marshall says, I created the meme for this live update. I've been making the little meme videos on Instagram.
That was so good. I've watched it 3 times.
The crippling soreness and all of those things that were like getting ready to jump in were basically true. Like it was not a joke. I'm not kidding when I say that. It is warm in here.
It is. It's a little toasty. Yeah, we're getting to that. We're gonna have to start kicking on the AC here in the old garage.
Dan Bailey just commented on the piss poor condition. I wanted to do what was the scene? Because there's like where he gets Ron, like he catches Wes Mantooth catches Ron with a knife. I had this long thing planned out for that one, but the video is going to be too long.
All right. Well, we got a lot to get to. First thing we want to do before we start getting into these leaderboards is we want to welcome in our first guest of the day.
Oh, yeah.
This man told us he was retired. So let's bring him in now. It's Panchik. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
So I'm trying to figure this out. You say you're retired. Great. You're still going to do the fitness. And I'm looking at the standings now. You, sir, finished 5th unofficially in North America, ahead of both of your brothers. So simple question. Are you really retired?
I guess retirement is different in every sport. I've definitely cut my fitnessing in half. And this weekend was a bit surprising, to be honest.
We kind of theorized. I don't know if we did a live stream yesterday, and when we saw you at the top of the leaderboard, I made a hat out of Reynolds wrap and I put it on my head, and I maybe got into some conspiracy theories around maybe you took it easy, you focused on things outside of the gym, you found some extra fulfillment with family and all those other things. That maybe that has been just as beneficial to your fitness as anything else has been. And so maybe, you might be stroking the beard a little bit and wondering,
It is growing in. I'm stroking the beard a bit right now. Last year's games was interesting. There was something very freeing about it. Announcing that, hey, this is going to be my final ride left me really joyful in the moments that I had, the ups and downs and everything in between. And it was something that just kind of carried on as I, got my knee taken care of. I had surgery on that. I started rehab, and I was like, all right, I got to get this thing back to feeling the way, not necessarily the way it was in the fittest moments of my life, but I want to feel good, and I want to get back to slinging some weight around, being strong. And I don't plan on spending 2 sessions a day in the gym, but I'm still going to put in some time. And about a week before Wodapalooza, I text Matt O'Keefe and I said, hey, do I still have a spot available if I want it? And he's like, yeah. So I was like, I'm going to go down and create some moments with my brothers. That'll be a lot of fun. And now here we are in the through the Open and quarterfinals, and I'm just having fun, and it's freeing and exciting. I'm loving it.
So you are going to qualify unofficially here. I mean, barring something totally crazy, you're going to go to semifinals.
I had a good event 5. I had a pretty good event 5, so I think
you're good.
Good.
So semifinals are up next. What's the plan for that?
I don't know yet. Right now, as I signed up for quarterfinals, I was like, I'm going to end up doing these workouts anyway, so let's just see where I'm at. And I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to like programming and, seeing where my programming was back in 2012 to now. It's changed every year. I change something just to see, like, I'm going to change something little. I don't want to change a lot because obviously what I'm doing is working, but I like to make small changes. And this year it's been a lot of quality over quantity. And it's left me probably putting a little more intensity into my sessions and allowing me to get a little more time for recovery on Thursdays and Sundays. I used to make those like active recovery days. Now I don't do anything on those days. So it's interesting because my body feels better. I've created a little more time into my warm-up. I have this warm-up I do every day. It's like 30 minutes long. And I never used to spend that much time warming up, but it was all knee rehab exercises and lower back protocol and some things that my buddy Chad Teagues, my chiropractor, has given me to work on. I'm just kind of oiling the grooves to say, but it's got me feeling great, and I feel excited to like hurt. Where I think, the times last year I maybe wasn't as excited to hurt like that.
So we actually got a good question here from Zach Davis that I think is poignant given some of the recent sporting news. He's asking, how tempting is it to pull a Tom Brady and get back in there after these quarterfinals?
It is. So when Tom Brady did that, I was like, oh man, interesting. And I looked around, I asked people, I was like, what do you guys think of that? It's like, it's interesting. Very, nobody's mad about it, right?
Okay. I was going to say, more importantly, how does your wife feel about it?
That's my next question.
I'll tell you what, my wife is a warrior, I mean, she is just one bad mama jamma. She took on quarterfinals this weekend with me. She did the open, and I tell her day after day, I'm like, you judge everyone. You're coaching classes just like all the time, and you got Kinsley at home. Like you are killing it. And honestly, it makes me want to dig in. It really does, because I watch her, like she threw herself under 135 today on a snatch, and she hasn't snatched that in probably 2 years. And I'm just like, I see her doing that on like, and then she did the total, and it's the same thing, like throwing underweight that she hasn't done in a while. And here I am, I'm like, oh, I don't know, is my knee gonna hold up? And I watch her do that, I'm like, yeah, it's gonna hold up. You got this. Look at this like little voice in my head that's just like, her.
How is the knee feeling?
The knee's feeling good. I definitely felt this weekend. I mean, that intensity and those weights I haven't touched in a long time, but I was excited to get after it. And then after like the first 2 workouts, I looked at the leaderboard. Then it was like, oh, okay, let's go. Like I'm gonna ride this train. I'm not pumped up about this. So I'm just living it up, enjoying the moments, and happier than I probably have ever been in the sport.
That's awesome. And Spencer did the work test with you this weekend?
Yeah, so I've gotten to spend a little more time with Spencer. He's been coming out to the gym. We've been training, once or twice a week. He did the open out there with us, and then did quarterfinals. My sister qualified for quarterfinals. We had a big crew. I think there was about 9 or 10 of us all together that did quarterfinals out at the CrossFit Mentality. And that's what I said, like, I'm going to end up testing these workouts so that I can help you guys anyway. So I might as well go and sign up and see what happens.
And there's 3 Panchiks in the top 11. And I think this is kind of one of the things that we touched on yesterday. We were thinking, like, I have to imagine there's that little urge that, like, man, if this is the year that Spencer gets, over the hump and qualifies, there could be 3 of us at the games, and how cool would that be? I'd imagine that's something in the back of your mind.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's why I signed up for Wodapalooza. And the reason I'm doing a lot of this stuff is I don't feel like I have anything to prove anymore. And I think for a long time, I walked around, I was like, I got to prove, I got to check this box, I got to do this. And it's just like, no, your fitness is your fitness. Like, honestly, that's like the consistency is what I'm most proud of. We talk about that in CrossFit all the time. Like, you got to be consistent across all these tests. And to me, in my eyes, like, I've done that. And my family, like, whether I win or lose, my daughter's not going to look at me any differently. And I mean, I do like the way my wife looks at me when I'm on the floor, but I think she looks like that when I'm holding the weed whacker at home too. So.
Oh man, you got the white New Balances on?
Oh man,
because that's
the high tube socks.
Yeah, jean shorts, braided belt, cell phone on the clip.
Right.
Yeah, he's got it all. Why do you think that, when you say that you don't have anything to prove, why do you think that has allowed you to, I don't want to say perform better, but just have more fun?
I think that's one of the things that I really noticed at the games this past year when I looked around. There can only be one champion, but like everybody there is amazing. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in chasing being the champion that we forget about enjoying the process along the way. The process, I mean, think about the process. It's so much longer than that one moment that you're gonna spend, standing in front of everyone. Yes, that moment's gonna be incredible, but you want to have your team of people around you and the excitement, like everybody that was a part of that, around you to go eat pizza with afterwards and to tell stories about, like, hey, you remember like when this happened and we were all in the streets of Madison when you took 4th place at the games and we're all howling at the moon at the end of the weekend, like stuff like that. Like, I want to have those stories to, tell my kids someday, or my friends by the campfire. It's the journey. It's not the top of the podium, at least in my eyes. And maybe that's different for everyone, but it took me a long time. And I see a lot of unhappy faces. People get their first muscle up. They want 2 muscle ups. people hit a PR, they want 5. I could have got 5 more pounds. It's like, enjoy it. Enjoy the moments because they go by quick. And I'm not about that life. I'm gonna live it up.
Oh man. Let's see. I think we got a good question from Brad Marshall. He says, Saxon takes the Open, you take quarters amongst your brothers. What is the conversation like, and is there any trash talking going on behind the scenes? Just amongst the Panchik boys, or is your sister getting in there too?
That's funny. No trash talking. I feel like it's just like you step on the floor, you give it everything you have, and when it's all said and done, you walk out proud. And that's for me. Maybe that's 10 years of like, it is, your fitness is your fitness, and I'm walking proof that you don't need to spend 6 to 8 hours in the gym all day to perform well. And each test is different. The Open is a different beast, is semifinals and quarterfinals in the games. And I think you're going to see different athletes shine in all those areas. Some athletes are redoing workouts. Like there's, if you were in the top of the leaderboard in the Open and there's a chance you could maybe win some prize money, maybe you redo them. But I think a lot of athletes aren't putting a lot of weight into the Open or even the quarterfinals. I mean, maybe there's some redoing going on if you are nervous you're not going to make it to semifinals. But other than that, you're doing that for pride of like where you want to see yourself on the leaderboard. And honestly, that's not a healthy place to be at all. If that's what's going through your mind is I need to be here and I got to do this to get there right now. Because if you're feeling warm and good about yourself right now, you don't want to be feeling that. You want to be feeling like, hey, I got to go back to work and, prepare for that next stage.
Well, Scott, thank you so much for joining us. And I look forward to watching you compete in semifinals. You're not staying away, and you know it.
We'll see.
All right. Okay.
I will say this. My focus right now is not on winning the CrossFit Games. If I show up to semifinals, it's to have some fun and create some memories. Awesome. And not let the sport consume me in the process.
That's great, right? Well, nice. Listen, honestly, congratulations. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and glad that even though you had the knee thing last year, that the fitness still seems to be okay.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Man. Take care. Thanks, Scott.
Good seeing you, man.
Yeah, he's coming back.
Oh man. I mean, like you look at the scores and you're like, well, I beat Saxon by 15. I beat Spencer.
Let's look at those. Let's look
at
those scores now. Here, let me see if I can call up North America, because I think I have it on the men. All right, here we go. Justin Medeiros is your unofficial winner. Again, these will probably fluctuate a little bit, but he right now has a 26-point lead on Chandler Smith, who put up his best finish of the weekend with a 4th place 235. We talked about that yesterday in event number 5. Jeff Adler jumps all the way up to 3rd. Noah Olson, and then Scott Panchik, Saxon Panchik, Pat Vellner up to 7th. He made a steady climb up the leaderboard. Griffin Raleigh stays in the top 10.
Really strong performance from Griffin.
Sam Quant, and then Phil Toon rounding out the top 10 with Spencer Panchik right on the outside looking in. And then as we
look at the
scroll down here, we have some
big Matt DeLugos, 219
that is
number 5.
Offensive.
Him and Anthony Davis just manhandling that.
I couldn't do that, I think, with an empty barbell.
You'd have to sprint the entire way. The thing that's most impressive is that DeLugos is, 6'4", 218. Anthony Davis is probably 5'10", 225. And to move like that in a sprint fashion through those burpee box jump overs is still incredibly impressive because, I've got word on the street that Mr. DeLugos was holding between a 2,700 and 3,100 cals on the rower for that 30 cals, which that
is insane.
That's plaid. That's going plaid. That's absolutely nutty. But
41st, that put him in 41st place, so he's solidly there. And then I got Tim Paulson there in 26th. Good finish for him. Brent Fikowski finished 23rd. I'm going to go to the cut line here just to see if there was anybody of note out of 120. And again, this is all
kind of going down. Seeing a lot of
unofficial
familiar
here.
names.
So right now, Rafael Sanson out of Mexico would be the last man in, but he only has a 1-point lead over Jason Ray. So barring reviews and things like that, some of that could change. So Jason Ray still very much alive, pending the final review of the leaderboard here.
Someone mentioned that Annika Greer doesn't have a.
Yeah, I don't know about that because she maybe it's not in yet, but she did post that she did it. So let's go over to the women for North America.
Out of man, that would be no bueno.
Mal O'Brien. First place, 77 points. Alexis Raptis, who is going to be joining us here in a little bit.
Yep.
Bonus guests.
Yeah.
Second right now, 82 points. Danielle Brandon will finish in third, followed by Amanda Barnhart and Brooke Wells inside the top 5. That's a great result for Brooke. That's
Tremendous.
I talked to her earlier today for something that I was doing for Game Central. And asked her about the mental aspect of overcoming that injury. And she was saying how that's been probably the toughest part. Just every time she goes overhead, she's just, it's there. But that she has started to gain a lot of confidence. And I think with this result, hopefully that final hurdle has been cleared and she knows she's good to go.
Totally. I mean, you go down the line, you look at the 46th on the total, maybe taking a little bit easier on that elbow, particularly with the overhead position as well. But still 10th in the sprint, 15th in the longer one, 8th with the gymnastics, 45th, a little bit lower in the upper body pulling, which something hasn't been great for her, especially muscle ups under fatigue. But overall, solid all around. And I want to apologize to Olivia Kerstetter.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned her.
I mistakenly referred to her as Olivia Sulik yesterday because they were both close on the leaderboard at the time. And I just
all good.
I mentioned that we had seen her at the MAC last year. That was Olivia Sulik. Olivia Kerstetter deserves some flowers all of her own. 16 years old right now, 8th in North America, finishes top 10, 10th in the total, 6th in that sprint workout, and then solid in the range of an average of about top 40, top 50, top 45 in the remaining 3 tests on average. Tremendous performance from her. And she's still, she's only 16, so she has 2 years left in the teach division.
That's nuts. Yeah, Olivia Sulik's down there in 22nd. Fisa Gavi 17th. Good for her. Haley Adams 14th. There are a lot of young up and coming stars in that top 15. You just look at the names that are up there. And then you had Paige Powers is in 20th. I wanted to go to the next page to see where one Becca Voigt was hanging out. She was in the 60s yesterday. And we'll see where she winds up. I don't see her here. Maybe have dropped down a little bit. But the top 120 go. So we'll go to the cut line here and see. Oh, I don't see her. I could have missed her, but I don't see her. 101.
Who are you looking for?
Becca Voigt Miller.
Oh, yeah.
Going to semis. Whew. Good job, Becca. And then when we get down to 120.
Crushing it. 40 plus going to semis.
Carly Stone right now is the last woman in. She has a 3-point lead over Jordan Adcock. And again, this could fluctuate a little bit. So that's the North American women. But no, it doesn't look like any notable names.
My North American women stuff is still filling out. It's not allowing me to go past. Let's see.
But we will definitely keep an eye on the Annika Greer thing. That is
so I want
concerning.
I want to bring up something real quick because something came to my awareness, and out of respect to the athlete, I will leave it nameless. But there has been some issues with people submitting scores on time, particularly overseas.
Yes,
time change affected, and with the variation in like fallback, daylight savings. I know an athlete that was a minute late to submitting their score, and, partially because they thought they had more time, and also they were uploading video. There's going to be a time where someone is going to have a very tough break here because as always, I encourage athletes that have an issue to reach out to support at CrossFitGames.com. But one of the things they typically take a hard line on is score submissions due to time mix-ups. That is something that is they very rarely make exceptions for.
Yeah.
And even this year in the quarterfinals packet, they mentioned that if there is an issue uploading your video, make sure you, in the very least, submit a score first.
Right.
You can provide the video later and send it into the CrossFit support with time codes and everything like that. But the one thing they can't help you with is if you do not submit a score before the time
Right.
frame, because that becomes a very slippery slope, and they have to take a hard line.
Let me, because I didn't read through this as closely as you did. I'm not a quarterfinals athlete, but is there any case to be made for a language barrier?
Possibly. I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, I don't know either, but this is one of those cases where, because I probably got the same messages that you did.
The issue with the language barrier is, if you're having it now and not during the open.
It's a good point. No, you're right. I hate this. I hate when this stuff happens. I really do. And I'm the guy, like, this is why I should not be in charge of this, because I'd be like, yeah, that sounds like a legit thing. Fine,
yeah,
you're in. And you can't do that. Like, you have to set a hard line and you have to stick to it, because if you don't, you open up, yourself to a lot of problems.
And they're going to be people who genuinely made a mistake.
100%.
And are going to, unfortunately, either have their season ended or their dreams for that year dashed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really tough place to be in, but it's also like, it's like it, and I don't want to this is the only analogy I have, but like, there are times when, like, I feel like as a parent, you have to, like, come down, you have to be firm on the ruling, when, even though you really don't want to, because there's a bigger lesson to be learned, especially with something like this. If you're trying to legitimize the sport, and you can easily play what about this, what about that, and lean into whataboutism to point to other areas where it may not have been beneficial. But overall, if you're trying to increase the professionalism of the sport and set a standard that you want to hold everybody to, you're going to have to take a hard line on some stuff like this.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really unfortunate that had to happen, and maybe they'll find a solution. But as of now, it doesn't look like you can't really make an exception. We'll get back to the leaderboards in just a second, but right now we want to bring in our next guest. She currently, barring any sort of change in the score, is second in North America. She is Alexis Raptis. Alexis, thanks so much for being here. How you doing? We can't hear her.
Oops.
We can see her. We just cannot hear her.
Uh-oh.
No, can't hear you now.
Oh. Can you hear us?
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
How you doing?
I can hear you guys. Good. Sorry.
No problem.
I really bad Wi-Fi. Hopefully.
That's okay.
Okay.
We'll deal.
You coming through all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good.
So right now you are in second place in North America. What were your expectations coming into quarterfinals?
I really didn't have any place in mind. It was just be top 120 and qualify to the next stage. Obviously, I wanted to do really well so that way I could choose where I wanted to go, but I didn't really have any specific expectations or a place in mind or anything. So yeah, this is pretty crazy.
You're training at a training think tank, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How I talked to Max earlier this week, and he mentioned that there was 40 athletes doing quarterfinals there this weekend. If you were able to do them in that environment, what was it like getting to throw down with so many people at this stage?
Yeah, it was awesome. It felt like a in-person competition, kind of. We had heats and a whole schedule. So it was very official, and so it felt like you still got the same nerves as a normal competition, which I enjoyed. And then there was a huge crowd of people. So for me, I loved it because it just brought such good energy, and it kind of makes you feel like you're back on the competition floor. And then I did almost every workout with a bunch, I would go with Sarah. I think I went with Sarah almost every time. And there's so many other girls there, super strong. Everyone's got things that they're really good at. And so you have all these girls next to you. And so every workout was a push. It was awesome.
You have competed at the games as a teenager twice. You're still looking for your first individual appearance, but what did those 2 appearances as a teenager teach you about what you need to do to be successful on that stage?
I would say you have to really love what you do, because it is very time consuming. And if you're not pretty much all in, people are going to pass you. So I feel like in the teen division, I learned that more so my second year. My first year, I was just there really to have fun. And I didn't really realize, like, I didn't put as much into it that year. And I realized if I want to be good, I really have to kind of go all in. And so that was the second year I realized that. And each year I've just learned different things about just how to be smarter training, just how to fuel my body properly, how to stay healthy. So yeah, I would just say over the years, I've just accumulated different stuff, and I learn something new every single year, I feel like. So yeah.
A lot of people may have been introduced to you last year at the West Coast Classic when you finished just a spot out of qualifying. But really, like, you've been in the sport, like we mentioned, for a long time, multiple appearances at the games as a teenager, a podium finish as a teenager. You've competed at regionals on a team. And in this environment where we're now seeing teens make the jump immediately, I think some athletes like yourself that have a slightly different path, we're not as clued into what that process looks like. And I'm kind of curious what the last kind of 4-ish years have been like for you as you try to find your way. And what do you feel like has really set you apart now this year as an athlete to potentially make your first appearance?
Well, I dealt with a lot of injuries the past 4 years. It's kind of on and off injuries. And so I think
Lost your sound again. I don't know if you can hear us, Alexis, but we can't hear you. Okay, we'll see if she can fix that. Sorry, she can't hear us. All right. I don't know. Okay. She has a very weak signal. Apologize for this, everyone. So I don't want to do this. I don't want to just like make her go away. I'm not going to make her go away. I'm just going to do this, and she's going to stay in the waiting room. So hopefully we can get that connection fixed, and we can get Alexis back on here. So apologize for that, the technical difficulties, but good for her, man. Finished in second.
Man, crazy. It's nice to see we see some athletes like get really close, and that near miss really lights a fire, and you see them come back just firing on all cylinders the next year. And it seems like that's been that way for Alexis because, obviously she's 23 years young.
And I know she's still here. So Alexis, we couldn't hear you. Your sound kind of dropped out. So let's see if we can bring her back in and see if this works. Alexis, can you hear us? Yeah, we can't hear you. Sorry. Oh, okay. What's your?
I heard a little blip.
I heard a blip. No, unfortunately, we can't get your audio. She has a better signal. Oh, well. Okay, we'll keep working on it. We'll see. Okay, she's probably going to try to log back in. Apologize for that. But Alexis Raptis right now is in second place. Oh, and she's back. Let's see if this. We'll give this one more try to see if this will work. Can you hear us? She's trying to hook up to the audio. No, we can't hear you. Sorry. Okay, we will. Yeah, it's not working. Okay.
Oh, bummer.
Apologies to Alexis, but we appreciate her coming on here. Okay, let's get back to some.
We'll definitely have her on the show.
Yeah, we'll talk to her again. Well. So apologies for that, but that's a great performance for her and definitely a confidence builder going into semifinals. Okay, so I have an update on Annika Greer. This is coming in from the CrossFit Games scoring team that apparently she did not submit a score, missed the deadline.
Really?
What I'm being told. That's unofficial. But they didn't get one. So we'll see how that works out. Alexis is back. We'll try one more time.
All right. Third time's a charm.
All right, third time's a charm. Can you hear us, Alexis?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. There we go.
All right.
Okay.
There we go.
We lost you in the middle of your last question, and I don't remember
the
what that
Wi-Fi here
was.
sucks. I'm so sorry.
It looked like you had a great answer, though.
So the last thing we heard was that you'd been dealing with a bunch of injuries on and off.
Yeah. I just have dealt with a lot of different injuries the past 4 years, which has been frustrating. But I think it kind of each injury and like setback has brought me back to like really why I'm doing this and how bad I want it. And so I think even though it is frustrating and I would have loved to qualify years ago, it just wasn't the right time for me. And I think all of those situations just have taught me a lot. So I wouldn't change anything.
What's the confidence level now heading into semis?
I definitely have a lot more confidence in myself this year. I think in the past, even last year, I would say that was one of the biggest things that was missing. Because I don't know, until you do something, it's hard to know if you can do it, if that makes sense. Like, I know that I'm capable, but until I do it, it doesn't feel almost real, I guess. So I think after the Open and then after quarterfinals this year, I really truly do believe in myself, and I feel like it's definitely helped my confidence.
What's we mentioned the competition environment for doing quarterfinals, but what's it been like getting to train out there in Georgia and getting to train alongside an established individual athlete like Sarah for this season?
Oh, it's amazing. She is an amazing person and athlete, and we have so much fun. We're both very different athletes, but also there's a lot of things that we are very similar in, and so it makes a really good push in training. I don't know. I mean, it's just like, for me, knowing that she has done what I want to do and to be able to train with her every day and know that if I want to, like, this is what I want to do and she's doing it, it almost makes me feel like, I can too, and I should believe in myself more because I'm, working out right here with her and we're going back and forth every day. And so it's just made the whole thing a lot more fun. It's helped me build my confidence, just knowing that I can, keep up with someone that amazing and that high level. And so it's been just incredible.
And I got one last question for you before we let you go. It's always nice to perform well, but do you still allow yourself to have that enjoyment of like seeing your name up on top of the leaderboard? Does it still, hit you in the same way when you're up and coming and you see yourself amongst the big names in something like quarterfinals?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yesterday, I was out to lunch with my parents and I got all these calls and I was like, what is going on? And then I finally checked the leaderboard and I was like, there's got to be a mistake. I started going back. I was like doing the math on the list. I was like, it's adding up. Like, I don't understand. And then I was like, yeah, like I put in the work. I don't know why I'm questioning it. It's just crazy to see.
Oh, man.
So,
well, Alexis, congratulations. It's a great result from you. And I know that you're going to do well in semifinals as well. Can't wait to see how you perform
Thank
there.
you so
Enjoy
much.
this. Get back to training, and we look forward to watching you compete the rest of the way.
Thanks.
Hey, take care. Thank you so much.
See ya.
All right, Alexis Raptis, second in North America. So, Tommy, you were in the comments here clarifying some stuff. I checked on Annika Greer. I was told by the scoring team that she did not submit a score. So I don't know what happened there. Hopefully that is a glitch that there's a correction coming, but I don't know. And then Adam just asked, and we'll continue to update you on this. Did Bethany do the workouts and miss the deadlines? I don't know what she did. We just know that she didn't submit scores. And that's the only thing that we know. Don't know why, don't know what happened. But again, checked with the scoring team. They never got any scores from Bethany Shadburn. So that is a shame. But let's get back to...
She hasn't posted anything about it on social either.
Let's get back to leaderboards here. And we'll go to...
we're going to Europe?
Yeah, we're going to go to Europe. And we will start with the European women. So let me get that called up. And
nice.
Boom. Gabriella Magawa, pardon me, is your winner with 52 points, running away. 29 points over Emma McQuaid. Magawa with a first, only one real hiccup, a 33rd, a 7th, and a 4th.
Yep.
Dang.
And that hiccup came, like we said, in the one of the few things that I know she's working on is, upper body pulling under fatigue, particularly with the higher level gymnastics. But other than that, just lights out. I mean, you look at, top 10 finishes amongst a very, very competitive European women's field.
Man, and look at how many flags are up there inside the top 10. I mean, you have 3 Norwegians inside the top 10, but I think everybody else.
Poland, Ireland, Norway, Iceland, UK, Sweden.
How about Sigmund's daughter finishing
Hungary.
in 4th and doing really well on both of the heavier events?
Yeah.
That's really good. Good for her.
Crazy. And then it's nice to see her do well on the sprinty one too.
Yeah.
Like that, seeing kind of Sarah take the restrictor plate off a little bit and hit the gas pedal a little bit. Karin Frejova out of Slovakia. Good to see her back towards the top. She's someone that I thought could be, a top 10 surprise athlete at the games if she makes it. She's got some elements of her game that I think do really well at the highest level.
Catherine Davis' daughter in 23rd. Good for her. She'll be moving on. So it's the top 60 women out of Europe. Andrea Solberg is in 50th. So we go to the cut line here. And Silje Tonenson is currently the last woman in. And I didn't see Sam Briggs. Sam Briggs on the outside looking in. Sam Briggs, 66th, so 575 points. Again, things could change with all this because they have to pen final reviews and everything like that. So right now, Briggs she's a ways out. She is, what is that? Stand by for math. 36 points out. So she'd have to make up 36 points in order to get into semifinals. And she posted earlier today on social media that she didn't think she was going to make it in.
Yeah, and that's tough. That's just on the outside. The other possibility is that some people end up turning down their semifinals invites. You'd have to look. Let's see. If any other, like say, masters athletes are doing it, and we're just kind of using it for experience, or ultimately they wanted to do the individuals to kind of test the water and decide to go team. It's hard to say, but man, that's so close. She's like right there.
Yeah. Let's go over to the men. See how that shook out. It's the first time I've seen the Bjorgen Carl Gudmundsson. No shocker.
Just
135 points. Man, it was really, really balanced there.
Yeah.
Among those top athletes. Willie George coming off of that shoulder injury. He finishes in 2nd. Lazar Jukic, Jona Koski, Moritz Feibig out of Germany, Alex Katulis, Sam Stewart, Joshua Alchama, Guillaume Briand, Fabian Benyaito, rounding out the top 10. Andre Uday is there in 11th. Henrik Happelainen, he was another games rookie. Uldis Upniks. So a lot of guys we're used to seeing compete at the CrossFit Games there inside the top 15. Elliot Simmons in 20th. Let's see. Luka Jukic also moving on. Victor Lundal, who did very well in the Open.
Holds on for semifinal
32nd.
appearance.
He's going.
Christoph Horvath made it back. He was he was right on the fringe going into today. Curious if he was going to be able to make the leap, but I mean, he's so strong, taller, longer athlete. He would have
cut line.
Let's see.
All right. So on the cut line, Piotr Milzarczyk.
Piotr
Milzarczyk, I believe is how you'd say that. I'm
Nailed
taking
it.
a guess. Nailed it. He is the last man in. Hugo Souza is 4 points back. Jonas Mueller is 7 points back. And I don't see any really big names there. Bronislaw Alenkowicz.
Just outside.
Oh, man.
I mean, you can see, you look at like
those last two he crushed.
Yeah. The middle two where it's like a little bit longer, some more lungs in gymnast. Like he's good overhead. Like this, I think the strict handstand push-ups. Dude, brutal.
Too bad for Braun. Okay, we'll now go to let's go over to Oceania. We'll start with the men. Ricky Bard hanging on for first place. 30 points, 4-point win right now, all unofficial. Again, everything could change pending final reviews here. Jay Crouch is 4 points back of him. Bailey Martin, Baden Brown, and Ben Fowler, one of the two Fowler brothers that we've been talking about. Luke Fowler down there in 15th. Brandon Swan in 7th place. Good for Swanee. Matt McLeod. Royce Dunn finishes in 12th. Let's see. Rob Forte, the veteran, there in 19th. And only the top 30 men. James Newberry gets in at 26th. And Mitchell Case will be on the wrong side of the cut line right now, but he's only 8 points back, so something could happen there. Zach Thomas right now is the last man in. Only 30 men and 30 women from Oceania going to the Torian Pro, which is the semifinal down there. So good to see a lot of familiar names still holding it down. How about Rob Forte?
Just chilling, you know.
He's like the Scott Panchik of Oceania. Just super consistent. And we had Scott Panchik on earlier for those of you who are just joining us, and he said he didn't know what he was going to do in semifinals.
Yeah,
still up in the air. He's going to go. Why not go? Why not go and compete with your brothers and see what happens?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to qualify, but I think he's going to go.
And I think that's just something you can keep doing, right? Like,
Yeah,
if
why
you're just
not?
like, there's no pressure, might as well.
If
go do
I'm
it.
this good and I'm not trying, why not have fun with it?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the women's side of Oceania. I have a feeling I'm who's going to wind up on. Oh, yeah, look at that. Tia Toomey. Shocker. 7 points. A first, 3 firsts, and 2 seconds. She only lost to Ellie Turner in workout 5. Not a shock there. That's a really good workout for Ellie Turner.
That's
And
tied.
Cara Saunders in workout 2.
I think for Ellie, I think that's tied for the fastest time worldwide.
It might be.
In that workout.
That's burning.
That is
3:03. Geesh.
yikes. I was just finishing up my burpee box jump overs at that time.
Man, that's insane. Maddie Sturt rounds out the top 5 with Bailey Rogers. Jamie Simmons. Good to see her back. Another one coming off an injury. Laura Clifton there in 14th.
Just for Jamie, just got to keep it between the buoys.
There you go. And Katie Brock, the last woman in right now, with just a 1 point lead over Georgia Otto. So keep an eye on that. That might change. Pretty close there on the cut line for Oceania.
Ashley Corbia, an athlete who was inside the top 5, I believe, after day 1, just outside the cut line. Just kind of shows you how quickly things can turn. One thing we didn't say, and this is kind of backtracking a second, Laura Clement from who was third in the Open. I don't think she did quarterfinals.
She's a Masters athlete.
Yeah, so
she's probably doing Masters.
Yep.
She's 35, I think.
Mhm.
She's not 35 to 30.
So maybe
she's in your division.
Yep.
Okay, let's
Baby
go
Masters.
to Asia. Asia women. Sung Young Choi holds it down for the win. Shadad Budebs moves up to
Shahab,
second.
yeah.
Good for her. So here Kaya Svetlana Veselova is in 4th place. The top 30 again, moving on. We can work our way down.
Good to see Shahad Budebs.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's super
Competed
cool.
on a team of the games, right?
She's been an individual as the national champion for UAE too.
And I think she was last year on
I
a
think
team.
I think the UAE teams qualified.
May Hazan from Israel is the last woman in. She has a 2 point lead over Noor Karam. Holding down the cut line there. Okay, let's go to the men on the Asia side. Roman Krennikov by 10 points over Alexander Elin. Roman closes out with a 2:53 on workout number 5. Wow.
I would have loved to see his row pace on that.
Oh, man. You talk about going to Platt.
Oh, man. Ant Haynes in 6. Good
There
to
you
see
go,
him back
Ant.
up there. Nice job, Ant.
Yeah. Murtaza Sedegat is a guy that we've talked about quite a bit.
He had
Before we've mentioned his name, here and there, from Iran.
crushing the lifts. Former national champ of UAE, Mahmoud Shalan, in 20th. He was part of that team.
Dmitry Gurin in 30th, last man in right now with a 3 point lead over Anatoly Borisenko. But I don't think, when you look at in the Asian semifinals, I think that where the battle's going to be here.
Yeah.
Roman Krennikov looking really, really good heading into that.
Him
We'll
and
go
Ellen.
to, let's go to South America. Let's still go to Africa. We'll go to Africa next. African men. Jason Smith. How about that? 38 years young.
Holding it down.
6 point lead right now, pending final review over Ruan Duvenage. Keelan Henry, who had 3 first place finishes, but it was the 34th in workout 4 that knocked him down to 3rd place. He takes 3rd. Richard Wolbolt.
I'd be curious to see what for
4th.
Keelan, maybe if there was any one, like the nature of, I guess, a total is like, hey, he may have missed 1 or 2 lifts total. That could have been an extra 15 to 30 pounds, depending on where it's at. Was this a true representation of his total at 915? Or does, he maybe hits a couple of lifts and goes up 30 pounds and drops 12, and then suddenly he's in first. I'd be curious to know where the line was for that, to see how if he's just a missed lift or two away from competing with Jason, because the point spread is still very, very close.
Well, it looks like the Fittest of Cape Town is going to be dominated by South African athletes. There are a handful of Egyptian athletes in there, so that'll be cool.
Morocco,
yeah. But Bilal Hasham right now, your last man in, 240 points. So we will keep an eye on that. Let's go to the women's side of the house in Africa, where Michelle Morand is the only woman to go sub 30 points right now. First place overall. She had 3 third-place finishes and a 6th, and then a 14th in workout number 5. Michelle Basnet will finish in second place. Lee Kirouge, Annika Spies, and Gemma Rader are your top 5. Dinah Swift is down there.
Yep.
So once again, dominated by South African athletes. And you go down to the cut line, and it's Antoinette Scott, 3 points over Aya Faoud for the final spot. Okay, let's go to South America, and we will start with the women. And Julia Cato, who was, I think, third, or she was in the top 3 going into the final day. First place, 3 minutes, 20 seconds to win that workout for South America, puts her in first place right now by 4 points over Loaiza Marquez. Valentina Rangel is in third, and Melina Rodriguez sits in fourth. Victoria Campos is in fifth.
Strong performance from Kato to overtake Loaiza right on the last workout. 4-point spread, makes up 5 points. She was a point behind her, and Loaiza was your leader after yesterday. Good to see, Campos, Rangel, Melina Rodriguez, 3 women we expect to be in contention for one of those 2 spots. I think I'd be curious to see how Melina shifts her focus now that, that the team is, by the wayside, and she's focused more as an individual. I'm trying to think. I don't think any big names outside of
no one's jumping out.
Yeah.
All right. Finally, we will go to the South American men, and I think we all know who's going to wind up at top here. Guy Majeros, 27 points, closes out with 2 first-place finishes, 229 on number 5.
Yeah, that is fast. That is very fast. That is blazing. I mean, he had 2 there's clear strengths there. Obviously, wins the barbell workout, wins the workout at the end where, cycling the heavy barbell is an advantage. But, does tremendous in the GHD test as well. Curious around that workout 3, a little bit longer workout. I think that's one of the things that they're working on with him is, being able to get into those suffer fests and really dig your heels in. That's the only finish outside of the top 10 for him, but still, more than 18 points ahead of Augustin Riquelme, to hold on strong for the top spot.
Can't wait. If that semifinal goes off in person down there, what that atmosphere is going to be like with Guy competing. It's going to be awesome. Because we saw what he did at the games and what that crowd was like. And you and I both know firsthand what a Brazilian crowd is like. It's just
crazy.
It's going to be nuts. Hopefully there's some sort of live stream there because I want to watch that. That is must-see television. Man, we have a 3-way tie for 30th. 3 guys tied at 252 points right now. Woo! So top 30 from South America going in. So that's those are our leaderboards, and we will see how that changes. But we had a couple people who, once again brought up Bethany. And again, I will repeat that, she just didn't, and Adam summarized it here. Thanks, Adam, that she just didn't submit scores. Don't know what happened. Checked with the scoring team if maybe that was something happened with a glitch or they were going to review something after day 1 and was told that, nope, didn't submit a score. And then with Annika Greer, she was missing from the North America women's leaderboard right now, was told that she did not submit a score for workout 5. And still don't have an explanation for that. So that's too bad.
Her last, I'm trying to think if there's any posts. Nothing new.
So here's a question from Kristen. So how does Roman compete in semifinals? What we ideally, Kristen, is that he will go to South Korea for the Asian semifinal. If, like Tia Toomey's case last year, that can't happen. We have been told that, by Justin Berg, the GM of sport for CrossFit, and Adrian Bosman, the director of competition. I believe they addressed this in their press conference, that they are monitoring that situation and that they will come up with the best solution as we get closer. But ideally, Roman goes to South Korea to compete and then is able to get back into the United States because he already has his visa. He is already here. Or they find a way for him to compete at a semifinal in North America, much like they did last year with Tia Toomey. So we'll keep an eye on that. Okay. Overall thoughts now after these 5 tests, Tommy. What stands out to you either about the workouts, what you saw on the leaderboard? Because you went through all 5 of these, and now you get to rest up and go do the Masters semifinals.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously there was enough to chew on here for the elite athletes to really kind of highlight some of their strengths and even see. There was even some big variance at the upper echelons between athletes. If you had a relative weakness, like whether it was Guy finishing 13th in the South America, quarterfinal where he should be top 10 all across the board, or a ton of top times in certain events in Europe, pushing athletes to regularly finishing outside the top 20. There's definitely enough parity at the top, but I think for a lot of the other CrossFitters hoping to either make semifinals or even just improve their placing in the quarterfinal stages, I was having this conversation with someone earlier this morning after we did event 5, and I really like these tests, independent of everything else, as good benchmarks to test where certain elements of your game are at. Like for me, if I'm like, hey, skill wise, am I solid? Is my leg strength and endurance like really good here? Like the lunges and handstand push-up workout is a tremendous way to see, hey, is my pressing endurance really good? What about like mobility stuff, midline work? How much is midline going to interfere with my gymnastics on test 2? I love test 3 as just like a pure like meat grinder. You got to work hard and you got to keep the pedal down. That was phenomenal. I loved that work. And that's a workout I typically enjoy, and it beat the hell out of me. And I loved it. The other total I've talked about before, I think is a great balanced strength test to incorporate multiple lifts to maybe touch on more elements of strength than just a solo max effort kind of lift type test. And then I think that this final event for event 5 was an improvement on the short sprinty barbell event of last year. So last year it was the 963 couplet, burpee box jump overs with the tall box. I actually like this better as if you're trying to figure out, all right, who's got all the skills to just stomp it. I think this one was a much more well-rounded test overall. And having that singular heavy barbell at the end that you only have to touch once, I think makes it a more approachable across the board as well. So I thought this was a nice next evolution of what quarterfinals programming can be. I thought it touched more areas. I thought there were some clear lines between the 2 sets of programming, like there were some similarities, but I think that has to be true in some ways if you're trying to draw comparisons to, hey, this is in general thematically what we're going to do for quarterfinals, while also making sure that we update these tests, make them new, make them refresh them enough to make them a different stimulus while still accomplishing the same thing. I had so much more fun doing these workouts this year than I did last year. And I also felt like I was punished and tested for holes and weaknesses as much as I was in years past in last year. So I really, really overall enjoyed it. And I'm excited to see where they go with semifinals programming. I think if you look at this as a step in the direction, like the programming journey is never done. It's never like, oh, we've got programming figured out, because the athlete evolves. I see this as a good step in the right direction of what quarterfinals will continue to be.
And we're going to do this one last time. We're going to go to the leaderboard, and here it is. Look at that. 2,331st place, Tommy Marquez.
What was that?
2,331st. Woo! Nice job, man.
Oh, man.
That's some good work.
My goal was to improve by 1,000 spots out of the Open, primarily because I thought 1,000 people wouldn't sign up. But I was 5,165th. So
there you go.
I cut it in half. And
congratulations, man. That's awesome. And look out, Ernesto Aldolfo Cristo Gomez, because Tommy Marquez is coming after you next year. All right. Congratulations, man. Like I said, I'm proud of you. That's awesome that you got through all those. And that is a fantastic result. So,
thanks,
so
man.
good work, man. Good work. You get to recover now. And if you haven't already, go to our Instagram page and watch the video that Tommy posted today. That was fantastic.
That's been fun, man.
Good stuff, man. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us these past 3 days. Really appreciate it. Again, keep an eye on the leaderboard because it is going to fluctuate a little bit. We will be back with our regularly scheduled podcast next week to sort of wrap all this stuff up, maybe have some more interviews. I want to thank Scott Panchik for stopping by, Alexis Raptis for stopping by. Who else did we have yesterday? We had Pat Vellner.
Mm-hmm.
We had Amanda Barnhart. We had Justin Medeiros stop by, and he was even willing to jump back in again today if we needed to. So really, really big thanks to all of them. We have a break now before we have age group semifinals, and then we will do team quarterfinals. And then we will have live in-person semifinal action starting in late May. Can't wait for that. Congratulations to everybody who made it through quarterfinals. Tommy, congratulations again to you. That was outstanding work. For those of us who aspire to get there one day, we now have to get back in the gym and have to work on that fitness. So,
oh, man.
All right. And like I said, Scott Panchik, I think he's coming back. It's going to be fun to watch. All right.
As they say in the fitness game, let's go do that fitness.
Let's go do that fitness. Guys, thanks so much. For Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. Be sure to keep your eye out for our regularly scheduled podcast that will be out either Wednesday night or Thursday. And we're going to recap the entire weekend. And hopefully we will have more news on what happened with Annika Greer and Bethany Shadburn. Take care, everybody, and have a great